Breakfast Sarah Campbell is in Bristol to explain. Morning, Sarah.
Hello. Good morning to you. Yes, it's really only in the last 10 years that the number of storage facilities has grown at such an incredible rate. You were talking there about up to 15% a year. And we've worked out that there's currently the equivalent extra space of about 34,000 average-sized new build homes. That's a lot of extra space to fill, and people are being increasingly creative as to how they choose to use it.
An old sorting office, a munitions factory and a former car plant, all now part of a growing network of storage facilities. Inside, endless corridors, and behind the garishly coloured doors, a snapshot of modern living. 23-year-old dance teacher Aideen spends up to 4 hours a day in her makeshift studio. She'll even bring her students for lessons.
I couldn't swing a cat to my flat, never mind practicing what I need to do, so you know, it works for me, and it's like it's an extension to my bedroom.
Ria doesn't have a bedroom as she's staying with friends whilst looking for a job. For £90 a month, she has a large wardrobe and even a dressing room of sorts.
It's been really, really handy because I mean I'm a bit of a shopaholic, so it means I can keep as much stuff in London as I want, really. I can sort of fill it up to the brim without taking up space in my friend's apartment.
The first storage facility opened in the UK in 1980, and there are now 750 of them. That means people have approximately 28 million square feet of space in which to store their stuff, and it'll cost an average of between £10 and £50 per week, depending on the size of the room.
More and more people are becoming lifestyle users of storage, so that they discovered it for a temporary requirement at a point in time, then felt that it was very useful accessory to have, rather than perhaps having a bigger property. They can have that spare room in a self-storage facility.
Useful too for an increasing number of businesses. Quirky card designers Kate and Claire were attracted by the £500 a month rent, which includes business rates but not running water.
The disadvantage is, one, that we have to walk half a mile to fill up our kettle, toilets that have been in need of modernisation for at least 20 years. But overall, we make it work, we're flexible, and we are delighted to be in this environment.
It may not be Abbey Road, but at £700 a month, this is a lot cheaper than a recording studio.
We came to be here because we needed a place that we wouldn't get complaints, somewhere we could literally spend a year just being loud and getting our sound right without having angry neighbours knocking on the door.
Which we had before.
Recording studios are still rare, but a lack of space generally is creating a market which these brightly coloured boxes are all too ready to fill.
Fascinating what goes on behind some of those yellow doors. Most of it, though, is a little bit more mundane, if you don't mind me saying that. This is Jenny Edwards. You're using it for domestic use, and really that's the most common usage. So tell me why you feel you need an extra room.
It's just, well, we buy a house with my fiancé. We've moved, we each had a house each, but it was easy to sell one house, put everything in storage while the new purchase goes through.
OK, so this is all your treasured belongings, including, I've said this earlier, so you're going to have to tell me, 3 Christmas tree stands and albums. You haven't got a record player?
Yes.
Any comments?
I didn't know I had 3 Christmas tree stands until I packed up.
But you still put them in storage, so you're going to keep them. I'm going to, while you're having a little sift through that, let me bring in Jamie Breese, who's a decluttering, safe spacing expert. Come in here. Now tell me, this is pretty typical, is it?
Yes, you're a hoarder in the making, Jenny, with the 3 Christmas tree stands, but it's not too bad. I've travelled the breadth of Britain and seen some really bad cases, so I think measure for measure, it's not too bad.
Why has there been this huge expanse in the number of these storage facilities? Why do we need this extra space?
Yeah, I mean, the first storage facility opened in the UK only in 1980. Why? I think there's lots of sort of sociological things going on. It does tell us a lot. People are working from home, so they want to keep their work stuff and the products they sell in self-storage. We live in small spaces. You know, in England, we've got the smallest rooms in Western Europe.
I guess loft conversions
no cellars these days, so there's
Absolutely.
fewer places to just shove everything.
Yeah, people are choosing to do up their houses rather than sell up at the moment, and of course they want to put stuff into storage while they make that change to their home and self-improvement. And also, you know, there's no such thing as a job for life or a career for life. I hate to say it's a relationship for life in many cases. Divorce rates are up. So people are liking to remain a little bit more nimble, a little bit more mobile, and self-storage is a good solution to that.
Jenny, is there a little part of you that thinks that even though you're moving in together, that you'd like to keep a little bit of yourself back, so that I'm sure your relationship is going to go from strength to strength, but should you break up, you don't want to have got rid of all your things?
We're going to, when we finish the new house, we're going to try and split things 50-50 so that we've each got some of our own possessions, but happy to get rid of the rest.
OK, give us some tips here, Jamie. You're the expert.
Before you do that, and before you go into self-storage, you know, you want to do what we call a clutter bust or a declutter. Do it twice a year. That's what I do where possible. And spend, you know, a long weekend. Bring friends and family over. And it's because we're in the credit crunch, it's a great opportunity to let go of some of the items you've got. Make some money, pay some of those bills. You know, there's all sorts of techniques you can use. Research on the internet.
OK, Jamie, Jenny, who I have to say does use a storage unit, so we can't be too virtuous. So thank you very much for your advice. Well, there you go. So far, 28 million square feet of extra space for us to use, and according to the industry, demand is such that those huge, probably yellow buildings will be popping up on a street corner somewhere near you soon. Back to you.
All right, Sarah, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
I've got a storage space. What have I got? It's called a shed.
I need a space-saving expert.